Good morning, Tigers. I'm Mrs. Fox, for those of you who don't know me. I teach 5th grade, and I also oversee the peer counselors here at Century. The peer counselors are 5th and 6th graders who are trained to be there for all of their fellow Tigers. And one of the jobs that they have is to come into your classrooms and read to you 3 times a year, but they've only been able to do it once so far this year. So I thought for the second time, we could have a teacher from each grade level read to you the books that would have been read to you by the peer counselors. And we have another set if we have to do that, but hopefully we'll all be back together again, which I know is what we want. Having days off of school sounds really good until you're absolutely forced to do it, and then it really stinks, is what I'm hearing from all the teachers and all the kids that are emailing me and telling me about that. I know the teachers are really sad, and we miss you guys, and it's just not the same without you. But we must persevere, and I know that you're all doing things at home to keep your brains active and ready to go. Now, I thought perhaps you've never been taught how to read, really read. Now, the perfect weather to read is any kind of weather, but today is even better because it's rainy. And then it's very important, I find, to have a couch or somewhere cozy to sit. If it's a bright sunny day, the grass is lovely. I also have a pillow. Notice that my pillows, I have 2, have foxes on them. I also find it very important to have a blanket when I read. Now, in the summertime, I even have my blanket, even though I don't have it on me, but I have it to snuggle while I read. And you will notice that my blanket, this is my favorite blanket, has foxes on it. There seems to be a theme here. Shout out to the Rowell family who gave me 2 fox blankets, and this one is my favorite of the 2, although I love them both. I rotate them. Then I find it's important to have people with you, or if you don't have people, I have cuddle critters that my Room 16 friends are going to recognize. I can't forget about the elephant. And I always have at least 2 books that I'm reading. I have an old favorite book that I read that makes me feel like I'm spending time with an old friend. I am 52 years old, and if I have trouble sleeping, I still read my Dr. Seuss's sleep book. And it puts me to sleep every time. And this is from the Century Library, and look, inside, there's a picture of me with my Grandma Fox, who used to read it to me when I was a very little girl. Well, I'm still a little girl, but I'm just an older little girl. Okay, and then I'm reading a new book right now called The Founding Mothers, it's about all the women who were helping start the United States back in our history when it was starting as a country. Today, this is called The Dot. I'm wondering how many of you have heard this book before. And what we're working on is the theme of doing your best. I love this book, and I'll tell you what it made me think of at the end. Oh, I almost forgot. I have tea with me when I read, too. I think that's very important. Today I am enjoying pomegranate white tea. It's quite delicious. You might enjoy cocoa or water or juice. Okay, this is called The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Let me get my blanket all set. That's very important. Doing your best. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." I know what she means. My students will tell you I am not an excellent artist. That is not my thing, but I try. Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good strong dab. There! I like her teacher's hair. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn. Her dot, all framed in swirly gold. I love that swirly gold frame. Can you see the dot? There it is. It's kind of hard to see at first. Oh, and I wanted to point out, there's her signature too. See her signature down there. I can make a better dot than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the yellow. She discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting. Lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. Wait till you see this. Look at that. She made a dot by not painting a dot. Brilliant! At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Look at this. She even has a sculpture of a dot. A sculpture of a dot. Isn't that brilliant? I love that. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw, he said. I bet you can, said Vashti. Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. He's like me. Although I'm pretty good at straight lines with a ruler. Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. Show me. The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. He's nervous. That's okay. We all get nervous. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, do you see where this is going? What do you think she said? See if you're right. Please sign it. I'm wondering what your dot is. What is it that you don't feel you're very good at, that you'd like to be better at, you'd like to practice being better at? When I read this book, I've read it before, but when I read it today, what it made me think of my very first year teaching. I did the best dot I could, but it was a really different dot than the dot I would do now teaching. I've learned a lot of stuff since then and met a lot of kids who have taught me a lot of stuff and worked together as a team. So my dot now would be much different than my dot then, but I think they're all really important, every single dot. Just like all of her dots at her art show, every single year that I've taught, I've learned so much. And I've learned so much from the kids around me. And I miss those kids. I'm going to get a little teary. Your teachers all miss you. The school is not the same without you. And the school will be here and your teachers will be here when we all get to come back together again. Free hugs in room 16. Right now they have to be virtual hugs, but they're still there. I love you guys. Way to go, Tigers. Bye.